Good day, old sport.
Mr. Gay Gatsby.
Mr. Major
I'm
Gay.
fabulous. Look here, old sport. What do you think of me anyhow? Well, I'm gonna tell you something about my life. I don't want you to get the wrong idea from all those rumors you've heard. I'm gonna tell you the God's truth. I'm the son of some wealthy people from the Middle West. All dead now.
What part of the Middle West?
San Francisco. I inherited a lot of wealth when they all died. After that, I lived my life like a young Raja. Paris, Venice, Rome, collecting jewels, chiefly rubies. Hunting big game, painting a little, things for myself, and trying to forget something very sad that happened to me a long time ago. Then came the war, old sport. Yes.
Major J. Gatsby. For value extraordinary.
Now I'm going to make a big request of you today. I don't want you to think that I'm some nobody. You see, I usually find myself among strangers, drifting from here and there. Try to forget that sad thing that happened to me. You'll hear it this afternoon.
At lunch?
No, this afternoon. Miss Baker has kindly consented to give you the whole subject of the matter. But for now, let's go to lunch. I have something important for you to meet.
This place is so expensive, only I can afford to dine here. Greensboro, $14.92.
This is a nice restaurant, old sport?
But I like across the street better.
What is that place?
The old Metropole.
The old Metropole. I'll never forget, as long as I live, the night they shot Rosie Rosenthal there. 6 of us, dining there all night. Just drinking and eating. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning when Rosie Rosenthal gets up, heads to the door, turns around and says to us, "Don't let that waiter take my coffee." He steps out on the sidewalk and they shoot him 3 times, right in his full belly, and drive away. I understand you're looking for a business connection.
Oh no, this isn't the man.
No?
No. This is just a friend. I told you we'd discuss it some other time.
I beg your pardon. I had a wrong man.
Excuse me.
Fine fellow, isn't he?
Yes.
An Oxford man.
Oh,
You know, Oxford College in England.
I heard of it. Have you known Gatsby for a long time?
I met him just after the war. After an hour of conversing, I said to myself, that's the kind of man you wanted to take home and introduce to your mother and your sister. Oh, I see you looking at my cuff buttons. Human molars. Finest specimens.
That's an interesting idea.
Well, I won't impose myself on you two young gentlemen any longer.
Don't hurry, Mayor.
You're too polite. You two young men just discuss your sports and your young women. I won't impose myself on you two any longer.
It's one of those sentimental days for him.
What does he do? An actor? A dentist?
He's a gambler, old sport. He's the one who rigged the World Series back in 1919.
How did he happen to do that?
He just saw the opportunity.
And why isn't he in jail?
They can't catch him, old sport. He's a very smart man.
So my wife says that all women should have equality. What the hell is that?
Same here. My wife believes that all women should get the same wages as us.
They're too weak. Let a man do a man's job and a woman do a woman's job.
Here! Here!
Ah, Gatsby, my boy, you finally arrived.
I ran to Tom along the way. He thinks Pittsburgh's a big town. We have to ice him someday.
Stop moving so much.
And the occasional police came stopping by.
Ah, yes, the police. They are nothing more but pawns, pretending that they uphold the law when they themselves are breaking it. We own them. It's quite interesting. Women and all the dry-headed people, they try to stop the consumption of alcohol. When all it's really done is make it so that we're drinking more than ever before. Alcohol is the blood of the American people. Am I right, boys? Yeah! Alright. Look here, Gatsby. Stick with me. We'll go places. We'll do anything we want. That's the American dream. To the American dream.
To the American dream, old sport.
Free scumbags! Put your hands up!
Sorry.
Oh, idiot. Good shot.
Remember, Gatsby. Keep chasing that green light. Reach for the sky! We gotta get out of here!
Freeze!
It's a pity this hat should go to waste.
Do you know I rigged the 1919 World Series?
What are your thoughts on Mr. Gatsby?
Well, at first I was skeptical because San Francisco is not part of the Middle West. But then he showed me his war medals, so the rumors may not be true.
What kind of rumors?
Bootlegging.
Why do you think that?
I overheard rumors about Gatsby from people at his parties. I came to the conclusion that he is involved in shady activities during my previous luncheon with Gatsby and Mr. Wolfsheim. My presumptions were vindicated when Gatsby told me Mr. Wolfsheim rigged the World Series. Frankly, I'm quite surprised he told me about it.
I believe you were requested to see Miss Baker. What did she tell you about Mr. Gatsby's past?
One October day in
1917. I was Daisy's bridesmaid. I came into her room half an hour before the bridal dinner and found her lying in her bed, as lovely as a June night in her flowered dress, drunk as a monkey.
Congratulate me. I've never had a drink in my life, but oh, how I do enjoy it.
I was scared, I can tell you. I've never seen a girl like that before.
What's the matter, Daisy?
Tell them all Daisy's changed her mind. Say Daisy's changed her mind.
I took her into the tub, gave her spirits of ammonia, and put ice on her forehead. Half an hour later, we walked out of the room, and the whole incident was over. Next day at 5 o'clock, she married Tom Buchanan without so much as a shiver, and started off on a 3-month trip to the South Seas. Oh, I'm sorry, I got a bit off topic. Well, Gatsby and Daisy were in love. This was before the war, when Gatsby was a lieutenant stationed near Daisy's home. I believe I already mentioned that Daisy married Tom after Gatsby left for the war. Daisy's parents didn't approve of Gatsby, so she went looking for other men who weren't soldiers. Then she met Tom. As you know, Daisy was drunk the night before her wedding. I assumed she had second thoughts about marrying Tom, but soon after realized that she'd be better off with him. Or perhaps she thought that Gatsby wouldn't make it back from the war, or that her parents were right. Daisy was of upper class, and Gatsby was a nobody. But now, Gatsby lives right next to her. Well, I guess right next to her isn't exactly correct, but she lives right across the bay from him. Nick found this a strange coincidence, but I told him it wasn't. Gatsby bought that house so he could be near Daisy.
Oh, Tom is my husband. He's extremely well off financially and comes from a social family. He's becoming very profound, reading Rise of Colors or something by Stoddard. He reads deep books with long words. Very profound. Did you know that Tom was one of the most powerful ends that ever played football in New Haven? Yes, his family is enormously wealthy. He brought down a string of polo ponies from Lake Forest. Beautiful colors. So great to just look at. They're almost too pretty to ride.
Ah, Daisy. Lovely woman, isn't she? Picked me out of every man in town. But, ha! That shouldn't be a surprise, me being as rich and handsome as I am. By the way, have you read this book, Rise of the Colored Empire? Good book.
Tom. Well, Tom. I do know he's having an affair with another woman. She's his thickest mistress named Myrtle from New York. That mistress actually had the nerve to call Tom when I was a guest at Tom and Daisy's mansion. Although rude, it did add some excitement to the evening. I was actually quite bored. Daisy and I ought to plan something.
So what are your thoughts on Tom?
Tom is a quite aggressive fellow. As usual, when I visited him and my cousin Daisy at their estate, he wanted to show me his stables. He was always very competitive. I sometimes think he will live the rest of his life drifting on, seeking a little wistfully of some dramatic turbulence of some irrecoverable football game.
Myrtle, you're facing the wrong way.
I'm too pretty to be seen on camera. Anyway, I was crazy to marry Wilson.
Can you believe he borrowed somebody's best suit to get married and never told me? Well, at least I have Tom now. We met on a train facing each other, sitting on two little seats. He had on a dress suit and patent leather shoes that he owned. Soon, after a game of exchanging glances, I got into a taxi with him. He can't live it forever.
I love Myrtle. She's so full of vitality. I know I just run an auto shop, but that shouldn't stop love. Wealth isn't an issue. I know Myrtle and I were meant to be.
Oh, Myrtle. She's quite a woman. It's so funny how she acts when she's around me. Just buying things as if she were rich like me. It's really quite amusing how all of those peasant people act when they're around rich and powerful people like me.
Did I tell you I rigged the 1919 World Series?
I heard you the first time.
Well, I rigged the 1920 World Series too.
There was no World Series in 1920.
See how good I was?
So did you see the entire incident?
No, but I know it was a yellow car coming from New York. It was driving about 30, 40, maybe 50 miles an hour. It didn't stop.
Didn't stop? So did you see who committed the crime?
No, but I know she and her husband had an argument before all this happened. You see, both of them were screaming and yelling at each other. And I tried to ask Wilson what was going on, but he never said a word. Instead, he started throwing suspicious glances at me, looking here and there, asking me what I do on which day at what time. Sorry, I don't know much more than that.
Thank you.
Oh, what?
Do you know this person?
She was a friend.
Did you happen to see how she got hit?
No, I just got here. I saw a crowd and I thought I'd take a look.
You sure you don't know who did this? Wait, I have more questions.
Listen, Wilson, I just got in a minute ago from New York. I was gonna bring you that blue coupe we were talking about. That yellow car I was driving earlier, that's not my car. Alright? It's not my car. I haven't seen it all afternoon.
Well, I found Gatsby in the bushes. He asked if he saw any trouble on the road, and I replied with a yes. Right after I replied, he asked, was she killed? And again, I replied with a yes. Gatsby said Daisy was able to handle the fact that she killed Myrtle. He spoke as if Daisy's reaction was the only thing that mattered. I asked him what in the devil had happened, and he told me that he tried to swing the wheel. I took a guess of what might have happened, and so I asked him, was Daisy driving? Gatsby responded with a yes. Then after a moment, he told me that he of course will say that he didn't.
This crazy woman just rushed right out into the road. I was very nervous from the terrible incident between Tom and Gatsby. It steadies me to drive. I turned away to another car, but I lost my nerve and turned back. It all happened so fast. But she's probably okay now. Just rush her to a hospital. Not a light tap, but things always end up fine, just like in that movie I saw.
Wilson was labeled as a madman by the press, but later on, Myrtle's sister testified that Myrtle never met Gatsby and was completely happy with Wilson. Because of this, Wilson was reached to a man deranged by grief. As for Gatsby, I called up Daisy in half an hour without hesitation after we found Gatsby dead, but she and Tom had gone away early that afternoon and also took their baggage with them. They left no address, nor was it known when they would be back. Nobody knew where they went nor how they could be reached. I wanted to get somebody for Gatsby. I said that I would. Meyer Wolfsheim's name wasn't in the phone book. The butler gave me his office address on Broadway, and I called information. But by the time I had the phone number, it was long after 5, and no one answered the phone. I knew Gatsby wouldn't have wanted to go through this alone. I wrote a letter to Mr. Wolfsheim, and soon a letter in response came. His response was that he was tied up in some very important business. I couldn't stop there, and so I went to meet Mr. Wolfsheim personally. He told me when a man gets killed, he never likes to get mixed up in it. He likes to keep out. I decided to come back home, away from the east. Gatsby believed in the green light. It eluded us. We will run faster, stretch out our arms farther. I believe it's still out there, seducing the inhabitants of this country of opportunity.
Care to take a ride in my hydroplane, old sport?
But that's a car.
It is now. There we go.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
I said shotgun. Richard.
Go ahead.
It's all clear. Enter the vehicle, civilian.
No, you get it first.
Enter the vehicle!
Damn, how do you swirl it?
You guys ready? Okay, start. Go.
I don't think he ever did that, Gray.
He's Chuck Norris.
Okay. Hello, friends. I'm here today to tell you about Rise of the Colored Empires, the new book from author Stephen King that you can have in your home today for 3 easy payments of $13.95. Now, call within the next 10 minutes, and you'll get this premium straw hat, made in China for your wearing pleasure. Also, promise to tell one friend about our book, and we will send you this ripe bunch of bananas. No charge. Just pay the shipping and handling.
Alcohol is the blood of the American people. Am I right, boys?
Oh my god.
Listen, just got in from New York a minute ago. I was gonna bring you that blue coupe we were talking about. You know that yellow car I was driving earlier? That yellow car? That wasn't my car. Wasn't my car. Oh my god!